Hey guys! It's almost Fiesta here in San Antonio, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. It's just the reason why we have our Fiesta gear on. Today we're going to talk about our favorite card and how we afford to travel, because we have had lots of questions from family and friends.
So, the card we're going to be talking about today is the American Express Platinum card. This card gives us a ton of benefits that we utilize every single time we are going to get on a plane and every single time we get off a plane.
So the first thing that I want to discuss about the American Express Platinum card is the annual fee. So it does have an annual fee of $550, which is very high, I know. If you find someone like us, you can split it in half so it's not as bad. But if you take a look at the perks, which we are going to talk about, you can see it definitely outweighs the annual fee.
Yeah. So whenever I was researching the American Express Platinum card, I was really interested in the sign-up bonus, which was 60,000 points. You can, once you hit the minimum spend for this card, you can use those 60,000 points in multiple ways. An example of how we used them was from San Antonio to Honolulu on our most recent Hawaii trip. I booked the flights through the British Airways portal, which was 30,000 points round trip for one person. So we used up that 60,000 points. But if you are aware of how expensive it is to get to Hawaii, especially from the San Antonio airport, it was definitely a great value, and we got that whole annual fee back just by using those points.
The next perk that we wanted to discuss about the American Express Platinum card is the waiver fee that it gives you for global entry. So since the card belongs to Sean, he was able to get global entry for free. So then we split the cost of my global entry, which I believe was $50 for myself and $50 for Sean. Global entry, for those who don't know what it is when you're coming back from anywhere out of the United States, you typically have to wait in a line for customs. And customs is going to ask you questions about why you were out of the country, what did you do while you're out of the country. So instead of being interrogated and waiting in the long line, we have our own separate line where we then go to a kiosk. All we have to do is just scan our passport, swipe our global entry card, and it takes a picture of us through like the little kiosk, and we're done. So that's definitely a perk, because when you're coming back from out of the country, you're typically tired, you're jet lagged, you want to go home, and the last thing you want to do is wait in line with all the other people who you were just on the plane with to try to get back home. Yeah. Along with global entry is that you get Tsa Precheck. So Tsa Precheck is, instead of waiting in line to go through security with the rest of everyone else who's at the airport, especially if you're in a big airport, this is really good to use. You just go in a separate line. You don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to take your jacket off. Typically, you don't have to stand in the machine either that goes around you. You just walk through like a metal detector, and they send all of your luggage and your bags through the regular kiosk belt that it goes through. This has saved us about an hour and a half time before. In San Antonio, it's not as busy of an airport, but when you're traveling, you go to San Francisco, Dallas, Houston, these airports, if you're traveling during peak season, during a peak time, you can be there waiting anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. And so if you were to take Tsa Precheck and global entry and split them up, Tsa Precheck costs $85 for a year or for 5 years. With global entry, since it comes with it, it costs $100. So I highly suggest that you just get global entry and pay the extra $15 just because it comes with Tsa Precheck. You don't know when you're ever going to have to go out of the country and come back, and trust me, it will save you time every single time you come back in.
So the next thing that we're going to discuss is our status with rental cars. So we do get it with Hertz, with National,
and Avis.
But we've been very loyal to National. We used it once and we really enjoyed it, so we've kind of just been sticking with them. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown, when you go to rent a car with National, there's going to be a sign when you go to the counter that says if you have elite status, you don't have to wait in line.
Skip the counter.
You just skip it all together. You skip the line. So you go to the garage, and typically someone's going to come up to you and say, what are you looking for? You'll let them know that you have elite status with them, and they just say, okay, we'll pick a car on any of this aisle. So as soon as you pick the car that you want, you just get inside, the keys are there already, and then you drive up to a counter, which then you just give them your name. I don't know, Sean always does it. I just sit in the car and we give them the information. There's a little tag that we have to fill out, and you're done in about 5 minutes. So it's really easy. It's non-stressful. You don't have to walk around the car and look for dings and dents and feel like you're responsible for that. It's just pick the car you want, you drive off, and you're done. Yeah. And dropping it off is just as easy. They're not gonna walk around the car. They're not gonna look inside the car and make you feel like you broke something. They're just gonna say, how was the car? How did you like it? And we always say it was great. And then they say, thanks, have a great day. So it's real easy and stress-free.
And so with the Executive Emerald aisle, you book one class, which is the full-size class, but you get an upgrade. Because of the cars that they have in the executive aisle, it's always an upgrade. And
we're not like going for a big fancy car. We just look for something that's gonna work for us. Yeah. Typically we'll go with a car that's familiar with us, that's good on gas mileage, and that's just going to get the job done.
The next thing is the status with hotels. So you get gold status with 3 different hotels, which are Hilton, Marriott, and SPG. We typically just try to stay at whichever is cheapest, because we almost always get an upgrade to a better room. The upgrades can be classified as a corner room, or one that's on a higher level, or just a complete upgrade to a suite or something. Yeah. For each hotel, we always get free breakfast, or vouchers for free breakfast if they have a restaurant or something. For Marriott hotels and Hilton hotels, they have executive lounges, which is where they serve their breakfast in, and it's only for if you book an executive room, then you have access to it. But with us, we can book a basic room and we'll always have that access. Also with the Marriott and Hilton, they'll have like evening hors d'oeuvres and cocktail hours, which is something, just, another perk and another reason to stay in these hotels.
You're never going to be hungry if you have the status and you stay at these hotels.
Yeah. Another thing, which is what I was most excited for whenever I applied and got this card, was the lounge access. With American Express, they have their own branded Centurion lounges, which are scattered across the U.S., and there's one in Hong Kong, and they are building a new one in 2019 at the JFK airport, which is supposed to be the biggest one and the nicest one. And so with these lounges, they are the best lounges that we've been in. We haven't been in any first class or business class lounges yet, but these I'm sure could compete with some of them. And especially if we're not paying for it to access, it's like a win-win.
So something that Sean had touched base with me on is that you have to have the American Express Platinum card to go in. So you can't just have the everyday American Express card or the blue American Express card. You have to have a Platinum card to get in. And then he has access to bring one free person, which is always me. And so we have been to other lounges such as the Delta Sky Lounge, and we went up and tried to order a drink, and they're like, okay, what card do you want to put it on? And we were like kind of taken back because we're used to these Centurion lounges where everything is completely free. Some of them have manicures, or like they'll do your nails for you. Some have 15-minute massages. Some have showers, which Sean has used before. And the food's really nice, and it's just overall a nice environment to sit back and relax and not have to worry about the hustle and bustle of everyone else in the airport.
Yeah, they each have their own unique theme of each lounge, and it just makes it like that much better and just luxurious and stuff.
So I don't think we touched base because we got a little excited about the Centurion lounges, but you also do get access to Priority Pass lounges. So Priority Pass lounges is something that you can purchase access through. You can get like a membership with them. The Priority Pass lounges are cool. Some of them are better than others, but Centurion lounges are just always better than Priority Pass lounges.
Okay. So With the Priority Pass lounges, they're over 1,000 spread out across the world. So chances are you will go to an airport that you would be able to have access to. Priority Pass is free with the Platinum card, so that's just another perk. It definitely gets you away from all the airport chaos. And so going back to the points, you get the 5 times the points on all airline purchases that are made directly with the airlines. Or American Express does have their portal that you can book flights on, but I typically just like looking through the actual website and booking through there. So all you do, however much, let's say that we buy tickets for $1,000 round trip, we get 5 times the points for that. So we would, get 5,000 points. Also, with the Platinum card, you get to choose out of almost every airline in the U.S. And you get to choose a $200 incidental credit for them. So what I chose the airline that I chose was Delta, with to spend those $200 on.
And it was a little. It was very impulsive of us to choose Delta. It's not an airline that we typically were flying with. It was just that we were on Delta when we were going to Hawaii and when we were coming back. And when we went over there, they didn't give us any food. So we were like, well, what the heck? The food's kind of expensive. So Sean made the impulsive decision before we took off. He used his app and he chose Delta as our airline. So we went crazy and we purchased a whole bunch of food and drinks on the airline, and immediately once we landed, those purchases were already deducted from the American Express Platinum card because that was the airline that we chose.
Yeah, and so we still have about $150 that we can use for the rest of the year on Delta flights. If you don't have a card that gives you free checked bags, you can use this to pay for a checked bag, and it will take it out of that incidental fee. Out of that incidental credit.
So we do have other cards that we use, but like we said, the American Express Platinum card is our favorite card. It's our go-to card. If you do want to know about the other cards that we have, or if you have questions or we weren't clear on anything, please let us know. If you have ideas that you want us to go over, if there's a card that you want us to review, like we mentioned earlier, if you want to know more about the lounge access, please let us know, because we want to give you stuff that you want to see and content that you'll enjoy watching. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking your time to see this video, and please like and subscribe it.